I'm about to do a small review on the Canon HF-R800. It's a Vixia. This camera drives me nuts. I do not like this camera. This camera was a quick replacement in the same price range as a JVC Vario that had broke, that we had for years. Now the JVC was my workhorse. The picture quality was great. The sound quality was horrible, but that's what you expect, especially from cameras in this price range, you know, the 200, 250, 300 range. If you really want good quality stuff, well, even if you pay for a high-end camera, you still don't use the camera mic. The picture quality on this camera is actually very good. This camera has a lot of problems, and you would expect better quality from Canon. It's a Canon camera. Usually Canons are known to be more on the warm side, like the redder side. This camera is actually pretty accurate when it comes to white balance, like automatic white balance. So this particular camera, it has a microphone input and you need phantom power to run this whole. You cannot take this microphone and simply plug it in there. You can if there's a battery in here, or if you use something like what I'm doing, and I'm gonna actually just pass through this. I'm gonna show a noise right now inside this camera. I'm not sure if it's like part of the stabilizer. I don't even know if it's supposed to be doing this noise, like is something broken? I mean, this camera's been this way since this is brand new, so I just assumed it was this way. I'm just gonna be using the GoPro microphone. Now I'm gonna tilt the camera back and forth. You're gonna hear something inside making a noise. I don't know if it's supposed to do that. So one of the things about the Canon is it has a lot of noise. What do I mean? Am I just talking about regular noise where you can do a noise reduction? No. This thing has noise like, if you can remember back, if you're old enough to either use or have remembered the old 90s cameras. I wouldn't say 80s because those are more VHS, but when the VHS-C cameras came out, or 8mm tape cameras, or even mini DV cameras, those weren't as bad though. They had motor noise. They had motor noise because they had a tape to move. It had motors. And then when you would zoom in and out, it had a motor noise of the zoom motor going in and out. This is a digital camera. It has all of those same noises. This thing is so loud, I can't use it. I'll even show some of the drifting with loud cars that I use with the onboard mic just for a minute to show the difference, and you can still hear the camera noise. This room is somewhat quiet. This is not a soundproof room, but it's quiet enough. And I'm gonna do a couple of tests. This is now at 50. This is the onboard microphone of the Canon. And you should be able to hear a motor noise. And then when I zoom, you'll hear the zoom motor noise. Sorry, there's a car outside. I gotta wait for a second. So now what we're going to do is we'll put this on 100, and it gets really bad. So now it's on 100, and there should be a ton of noise from the motor, which shouldn't even be a motor, and then I will zoom and you'll hear the zoom motor as well. So now what I'm about to show you is a real pet peeve of mine because we have a drum set and I cannot use this with the drums. Now what I've done is I used the big tripod. We've tried different tripods. We tried different places on the floor to make sure there was no vibration. We made sure it's not touching the wall. We've put it up against the wall. We've tried all kinds of stuff with this camera, and this is the test that does not matter if this is on or not. You're gonna see how the camera vibrates from the noise. It shouldn't do that. It's a digital camera. There should be nothing there. None of our other cameras do this. So right now, the stabilizer's turned on. Now, what a lot of people were telling me is turn it off, and that would help that. So we're gonna do two tests right now. The first one is going to be with the stabilizer on. And right now, this is the camera microphone, and it's on 20.
The other thing is low light. I don't do anything in like low light. I don't really like to video in low light. It doesn't work so good unless you buy a camera that's made for that. Even when it's dusky and not necessarily dark, the Canon has a ton of noise on it. And even if you brighten it up in post, it doesn't matter. The information just isn't there. My phone also does better in low light, even when it's dusky. I don't do stuff with like candles, and I'm not doing stuff like that. I do a lot of stuff with cars, so there's lights around. And this camera it just ain't cutting it. Canon, you drop the ball. Now, of course, I can pay for like $1,000 camera, and I've been looking at those, but this was a replacement for something in that same price range that had been discontinued. So Canon, disappointed, totally disappointed. It's to the point where I don't think I'll ever buy a Canon product again because I hate this camera that much.